Okay, we're going to look at creating a slider for the home page of the website. Here's a finished article, and what we're going to do is show you how it all came about. We're going to start with File New, and we're going to create a home page slider, and we're going to call this the master. And it will be 960 pixels wide, and it will be 338 pixels high, and it will be 72 pixels in resolution, and we'll have it as a white background. And there it is. And what we're going to do is create a series of these from this one master. So you'll end up with all your different. If you wanted to create 6 different sliders, they will all be in one master file, and you will just literally be able to switch them on and off using layers. So here's our layers window. If you haven't got that open yet, you just find it in here, click on Windows, go down the list, see layers, it's now gone, find layers, it's now back. And what we're going to do in order to create something like this is we're going to pull in different files into this one, and the way we do that is by using the file, click on File, go to Place. And what we're going to do is we're going to place a mug into that file, and this is the one we're going to find. Where is it? Father's Day, here it is, and we're going to go to this one, Father's Day mug, and we're going to put it in, and it's going to land smack bang into our background we created. And I don't necessarily want it that big, I want it to be a little bit smaller within the frame. So I'm going to hold the shift key down, click onto the corner and drag up, so that by holding the shift key down we can keep the ratios in perspective. Once I get it to a size I think it looks okay, let go, hit enter key, and because I've got the Dad's Mug 1 highlighted, and because I've got this button over here set, which is the move button, I can now click on it and move it around. Now here's the thing with these files. The file I've pulled in there, the World's Best Dad Mug, is a JPEG. Oh, sorry, a PNG. Here it is here. And when I create it as a PNG, I've got no background. It's transparent background. So basically, I've taken a mug with a white background, I've clipped it, and we've now got it without any background. And the reason for that, when in this case, is because we're going to be using a colored background for this example. So I don't want it plain white. You may have seen those on the website already. So I'm going to go in and create a solid color, and I'm going to see what. Let's try something like that. So we click on there and click OK. Now obviously it looks like the mug's disappears only because I've got the layers in the wrong order. I then drag the layer down underneath the mug, and when it comes down, and the mug appears where I want it to be at the front. And you can see with the transparency we've got it looks okay. If I was to bring in a mug like the one we just saw, which has got a white background, you will see that it doesn't really look as good, unless you're going to do it on a white background, of course, then it will be okay. So if you're going to use a JPEG, it needs to have a background that's as white as the background that you're going to place it on, for it not to look silly. However, the benefit of the transparent background, as you will see when we put the color back on, is that I can give that a 3-dimensional look if I go into the FX button down here and click on Drop Shadow. And you will see that when I select Drop Shadow, okay, I go into FX, click on Drop Shadow, and you can see that it gives it sort of a 3-dimensional effect. It sort of brings it out a little bit. If I wanted to add text, click on the text button, drag the text box over here, and just put in some word. Father's Day is almost here, and I can then pull that over there, and I can then move this around. Again, if I wanted to keep in with the theme of like a three-dimensional look, I can also do a drop box on the text. What works a little bit better with the text is if we also highlight the outer glow, and it just gives it that again, it just makes it a bit clearer for people to read. And if I don't really want those effects, then I can just click on the eye next to those effects and we can turn them off. So we can turn them on or off, basically. So as you can see, as you gather this stuff, you get all these layers which you can switch on and off. If I go to the one I did earlier, which is my master, here he is. As you can see in this layer, I've got loads of stuff. So I can turn these on and off as I see fit, depending on what I want to do. Let's see what that one looks like. So I can do all these different mugs, and I can just switch them on and off at will, really. And where are we? Let's put this colour in here, and I need to drag it underneath all the mugs. So as you can see, I can add patterns. I can, you got all these different fill patterns you can create, and basically all you're doing there is going into this area and checking on pattern. And you can change the opacity, and you can just actually play around with it as much as you want. I mean, it's just sometimes I think with Photoshop, you often got too much choice, and you don't know when to stop. So really, that's how you're going to be making a slider. That's the basics of it. So you've got your background. You can then bring stuff into it. All you've got to remember is that you've got to bring it in by going File, Place. So you need to have prepared your mug pictures in advance, have them in your folder, and if you want to put them into anything other than a white background, you will need to either create the mug within its own frame with a completely white background, like this one, or it needs to be on a transparent background. Once you've got that, then really, you're only limited by your imagination, and that is how you do your slider. To get a mug from an original that you would have sent me into something which is completely clipped out is a lesson in itself. So if you and to be honest with you, it'd be quicker for you to go into YouTube and actually type in how to create a transparent background on a picture, because there's millions of different tutorials out there, some better than others, so you probably will need to shop around, but I'm quite happy to create for you a video tutorial, 2 or 3 minute video tutorial, if you prefer. Okay, so that is